Joy, gratitude. What do these things mean? On a search for happiness, the destination is going to make us happy. Once we have money, once we have a car, once we have those fancy things, then we'll be happy. But the thing is that the destination is never the happiness. The joy is the growth on to happiness. In terms of my life, I think that I've always tried to, once I get something, once I attain that next step, then I'll be happy. But then once I always get to that next step, I'm always more disappointed than I was before. Instead of enjoying the process, I've only looked at the destination. So I never actually enjoyed the whole process of getting to that destination. We all struggle with why billionaires, and we always think they have $1 billion, why they need $10 billion. It's because you always get to that point, destination becomes your new you. It becomes the new lifestyle. I remember an interview with Dan Bilzerian, and he said that, they asked him, aren't you happy you have all this money, you have all these girls? And he says, no, he says, you always chase what's next. It's like a drug because you obtain it and then it becomes your new normal. When you're thinking that these other people have happiness because they have these things, I'm the same way. I always look at a house that I wish I had, or a lifestyle that I wish I had, or I see some YouTubers and I wish that I had all those subscribers, and I think my brain instantly thinks, it's like an automatic dial that says you'll be happy if you have these things. And it's a trick our mind plays on us, because happiness is never a destination. When we learn to just enjoy the process, we enjoy learning, we enjoy growth, is when we actually find happiness. I don't think that life is about happiness. Life is about growth, being proud of what you've accomplished, the changes you've made in yourself and your life, the people you've affected positively. Those things are much more important than what we acquire. But then again, our brain always tells us you'll be happy when you get these things. I never really understood it, and I had an Amazon business. I remember I thought, once I hit $100,000 and I get my dream car, which was a Range Rover. It was a white and black Range Rover. Once I get these things, then I will be happy. And I remember I had this meditation, Bob Proctor guided meditation, which I really recommend you guys searching. So basically what I did was every morning, every evening, I would manifest and I would visualize the $100,000. I would visualize on my Amazon account seeing $100,000. I would visualize the car and the steering wheel and driving and people seeing me in the car. I got there. I obtained exactly what I wanted, and I was excited for 2 weeks. And then I was so unhappy because this is it. Didn't really bring me any joy. Where do I go from here? This isn't really doing much for me. That was when I really hit rock bottom. I did not know where to go, because I thought that money was supposed to be the thing that would make me happy, and the Range Rover was going to be the thing that people really looked at me and said, oh, you're successful. But I was like ashamed to drive the car, because I was like, this wasn't happy. This wasn't joy. This wasn't bringing me any success, which I thought it was supposed to bring. So after 2 weeks, I was driving, and I remember driving the car, and I was so depressed. And then I ended up, fast forward, I ended up turning into drugs, ended up in rehab. And you see how these kids that grow up with their parents and they have a lot of money, and you think, wow, their lives are made. And you can see that those aren't the things that make us happy. I remember when I was in rehab, I had a gratitude journal. I was waking up in cold sweat. Like, I had to change my clothes 5 to 6 times every night. And for 28 days, I was in hell. I remember every morning I would wake up and I would have a gratitude journal. I did not write down Range Rover, Amazon business. I wrote down my dog, my mom, my brothers, like things that mattered to me. It wasn't until then that I realized that those things are important, and those are the things that we take for granted. We don't realize how important those things are because we have them. We always want what we can't have, so when we have it, that's something we already have. We want that thing, that other thing, because our life is never complete. And we could see that with billionaires who are unhappy, and actors who commit suicide and they have it all. If you can, and you can try to actually take this and realize that we have to enjoy the ride. We have to enjoy the growth. And I think when people stop growing and they hit a point in their life where they get everything they want and then they realize they're not happy, but they don't know where else to go. That's where we have to realize is helping people and doing things for others is much more important, because that's something that actually lives on. Not the car, not the house, not the money, not the Amazon business. Like all those things, they don't last forever. They're very limited, and they give you like it's a fluctuating high, and it's like a drug. Like you take the drug and then it wears off, and then you're like, okay, what's next? And so you're constantly trying to get to that next step. You get that yacht, and then you're like, well, I want a bigger yacht. You know, I get that Lamborghini, I want the bigger Lamborghini. YouTubers and social media and the news will like to try to make you seem like these things are what you need to acquire, but we really already have what we want. Most of us is like, if you can walk, if you can breathe, if you have family, these are things that are the most important things, yet we don't really take into account how important they are. We have to actually go that route, get the things that we think are going to make us happy, and realize that they don't. When I saw Dan Bilzerian, and he said I've had every girl I could imagine, like supermodels, all the cars I want, all the houses I want. He says I have to always up it, and it's like, you know, it's never like I reach that goal and then I'm satisfied. I think for myself, when I manifested those things, like I saw them in my head every day, I would manifest it. It came exactly to fruition, exactly the exact car, the exact amount of money I was supposed to be making, my Amazon business. Boom, like I hit rock bottom. From then it was just like I got into a cycle and went downhill from there. I felt like I hit a dead end. I feel like, well, this was supposed to make me happy. Well, then what is supposed to make me happy if this doesn't? It's not the outcome. It's not the end result. It's not the destination. It's how we live. It's how we treat each other. It's how we grow and how we continue to evolve. That's what makes us happy. Where we have to live the now, finding the joy where we are right now, regardless of what you have. And you could have nothing, but you could still be happy for something. That's where gratitude is very, very, very important, because you could have legs and walk. That's so, when I was in therapy school, they tried to say that if you had legs, you were supposed to be above the person that was paralyzed. Or if you could see and you had more than the person that couldn't see, which made sense. Like if people that have cancer and are dying from cancer can still enjoy their life, I think that we can find a way with whatever we have, regardless of your life situations and regardless of what you're going through. I think we can find ways to be grateful. I know it takes time, because when I first started, it was like, I'm like, I can't be grateful. I'm going through withdrawals. I pour, but mentally, spiritually, physically, I was going through the worst of the worst. Like I went from most high to the rock bottom. I just kept writing what I was grateful for. Whenever I feel sad and whenever I feel depressed, I always remind myself what I have, because those things are important, and those things are the things that will make you proud. They will make you happy. They will give you joy. It's up to you to find that. Some people can walk and breathe and have all these things, but they still don't find joy in that. But they don't see the other side. They don't realize, imagine when you were sick. What's the most important thing for you? You want to feel better. I remember when I was in Costa Rica 3 years ago, and I got food poisoning, and it was like horrible food poisoning. And I remember I just said, like, I took for granted how physically capable being like healthy was. It takes us to be sick, and it takes us to lose things for us to know what we were missing. With meditation and being aware and having a gratitude journal and being grateful for the things we have allows more abundance in our life. It allows us to grow, be happy with where we are right now. Because if you're not happy with where you are right now, you're not going to be happy with where you are with stuff. And they say when people have money, or if they don't have money, money just amplifies whatever you are. So if you're unhappy, it's just going to make it worse. If you are happy, it's going to make you more happy. So how about you be happy without money, without anything? You can manifest the dream life that you want, and then you'll be even more happy. We have so much. If you are able to watch this, when I'm in Costa Rica right now, and I take Ubers through some of these barrios and these like kind of rundown towns, and the streets are poor and the kids are walking down the street and they don't have much, you realize it's like, I have so much. For instance, the other day I was in Uber, I left it was a vape, right? I know it's bad, but it was a portable vape, $10. The Uber driver stole it. He like took it when I dropped it in the seat, and he grabbed it, and I saw it in his hand, and it said like, that's mine, you know, and he was like pretended like he tried to put it in his pocket. And I was thinking, for him to grab that thing that cost $10, he must be in a situation that he does not have much. I just couldn't imagine that for myself, that I would have to steal something so low for me to get something, need something out of my life. Being around how poor people are, it's like you realize is they could be happy with nothing. I should be happy with what I have, because it's even more than what they have. You have to really, really concentrate on being grateful, because otherwise you're gonna get locked up into the gonna be happy when. The world functions like this, and society, especially America, US, we function like this. It's not going to make us happy. I don't know how to reiterate that, because I had everything that you could ask for, and yet it was not enough. I realized it was me helping people in some sort of way, making my life fulfilling by having a purpose, because what I was doing was I had an Amazon business and it was selling random placemats. There was no purpose for me. I felt like I was just doing something, just hustling, and it was making money, but it wasn't fulfilling for me internally. Like my soul was not feeling like it was fulfilled. I think that we have to always remember what we have, because those things are always the most important. And remember that the end goal is, there is no end goal. It's just growth. I think that that's constantly, continuously growing. Hope you guys like this video. I'll see you in the next one.